Yes, what's going on, people? We're back in the building. It's your boy Gumsa. It's Thursday evening. I'm here by myself. I ain't done a stream in ages, so I'm here. I'm coming live and direct in the place. Let's get into the intro and let's do this. Yes, yes. Good evening, people. Hope you're well. It's your boy Gumsa. We're back in the building. It's a bit of a change-up show, to be fair. We was gonna argue it out. Me and Bobby was gonna go back and forth about Granit Xhaka and rejoining the Arsenal squad. But I'm by myself, so I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself. I'm just here to have a quick catch up with you, to be honest. Hope everyone's well. It's been a long time since I've been on the Armoury. I've just been enjoying the World Cup. Um, yeah, it's been a great spectacle. The only downside is Jesus gonna be out for what's reported 3 months. So can Arsenal maintain the standards we set with Jesus in the team? I think that's the big talking point. Will Arsenal move for a striker in the window? I think it's been widely spread that we will be signing one, maybe two players. Does it need to be three, or does that change the target we go for in that attacking area? I think a winger is definitely on the agenda. We obviously actively went for Rafinha in the summer, didn't get him, and didn't really bring anyone else in. Um, so is that an area we may target? Who knows? But do we get a winger who could play up front? I think the obvious one springs to mind is someone like Cody Gakpo, who could do a job up front for a few weeks until Jesus is back, and then could easily move to the left or the right hand side. This way, keeping him happy that he's not going to be a bench warmer once Jesus is back, but he can get minutes elsewhere. Um, Another one for me is Will Saha. Um, Again, it's obvious, isn't it? He can play through the middle. He's not his best position, but he can do it. And then he goes back on the wing as well. So does it change the kind of left winger we're looking for, or do we just go and get a Mudrik, who's an out and out winger, and then we just rely on Nketiah? There was some talk about bringing Balogun back, but I can't see that happening if I'm honest. Um, he's done very well so far in his season-long loan. Obviously, he had completed almost half a season, but he scored quite a lot of goals. A lot have been penalties, but he's up there in the top goal scorer charts with France. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We're gonna get to some comments because today's show was meant to be about Granit Xhaka and rejoining the Arsenal squad. I've made a couple of comments in the group chat, and yeah, people were firing back at me. So Bobby was the only one brave enough to take me on, but unfortunately for a reason I don't know, something's obviously come up. Must be important because Bobby's normally very very reliable. So I hope everything's well, Bobby. Um, we can do the show another day. It's not a problem. I'm always here for it. Um, but yeah, as Silver One's saying, it's anti Xhaka versus pro Xhaka. I'm not anti Xhaka. Well, actually, I'm a little bit anti Xhaka right now. If you know me, you know my feelings on the guy. He's done well this season, though. But I said, I'm hold my hands up. He's playing well this season. I just don't buy into a lot of the other stuff. But yeah, no, we get there. We get there. I air my views one day. No Xhaka haters allowed. It's not what I'm. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit. Um, Xhaka equals best centre midfielder in the league. This is what it is. This is why. This is why you need me on this show, keeping the feet on the ground. Um, even Ozzy saying relax. Brenny's up in the building. What you saying, bruv? He's saying Xhaka is doing the business on the pitch for us. That's what matters the most, in my opinion. Doesn't bother me if Gums is not a fan. His choice. No one can change his mind about him. No one. Yeah, 100%. Now he is playing well. He is playing really well. Um, yeah, it's just other stuff. But we will talk about that in due time. Um, that was me. Yeah, Bobby. I hope you're well, Bobby. Seriously, hope everything's good. Aussie Gooners here and NS Sports TV. What are you saying, bruv? Hope you're well. How's the Chelsea contingent doing? So yeah, the World Cup's obviously in full flow. Speaking to Silver Fox earlier, guys, who have you got to win the World Cup? I am, yeah, I can't pick a team at the moment. No one's been outstanding. Everyone's had their game where they've looked a bit off it. Um, each team looks beatable, if that makes sense. I'm not looking at any team thinking, yeah, they look unstoppable. Um, Obviously, France v England's probably the pick of the games in this round for me. Um, yeah, my boy Bukayo, man, he's doing well. Big up Giroud as well, top scorer for France. Thoroughly deserved as well. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves in that French team, if I'm honest, and in football in general. So I'm very happy for him to get that, even though it's over our very own Thierry Henry. Um, but yeah, that game there, that looks a bit spicy. Yeah, I don't know who's going to take that one. I think whoever wins that one can go on to really have a good shout for it. Obviously, the winner of that was against Portugal and Morocco. Again, another tough game. On paper, you would fancy Portugal, but Morocco showed that they don't know pushovers. Um, and then who else we got on the other side? Brazil versus Croatia. I think that was for me the probably easy side to pick. However, it's football, so you never know. You never know. Um, and the other one, Argentina versus who Argentina playing? It's gone. Mine's gone blank. Mine has gone blank. Someone help me quickly. Help me. Argentina. Who Argentina playing? Oh, Holland. Yeah, Argentina, Holland. And again, I actually quite fancy Holland in that one. It's quite funny. For as much as I love Messi, everyone knows I'm a Messi fan. Messi's number one for me. Um, it is quite funny watching Portugal the other day. No one could deny Ronaldo and Messi's magic, but watching Portugal without Ronaldo, you saw a better Portugal in terms of just the flow in football. And everyone knows I'm an advocate of football. Yes, big names are important, but actually, if it's at a hindrance to the football, um, system should always win over players. I don't know if maybe Argentina need to look at that and actually maybe try something different. Messi's been producing, but Argentina on the whole haven't been the most fluent, they haven't been the most exciting to watch. So yeah, I think it's football. Football has changed a lot, and it is a lot more about the speed, the pace, the pressing, the intensity. And some of these players, just again, age catches up with you, isn't it? Age is the equalizer in football, and yeah, sometimes you need fresh legs in there. Um, so yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's going to be interesting. But guys, put your comments in. Who do you think is going to go through in the next round? Who are you picking out of them four games? And then who are you going for the win for the World Cup? Yes, Schooner Gathering. Hope you're well. I'm out here. I'm good, thanks. I'm just here, solo dolo, just talking it up. But let's get back to Arsenal. We spoke a bit about the World Cup. Obviously, we played a friendly. First half, I think we was winning 2-1. Second half, put some kids on, and yeah, Bobby, you want to play them kids? See what happened? Yeah, we threw it away. But we've got some games coming up soon. I believe the eventless game is next. Yeah, I haven't really been studying too much about the Arsenal. Actually, I'm quite relaxed about where we are with things. And I'm just going to take each day as it comes. I've kind of put my trust into the board, into the management team. Um, so yeah, I'm just kind of just waiting to see what they do. Really, and honestly, I do feel they will do something this January. Um, if we buy, we're buying from a position of power, which is really important. Um, Sometimes when you buy when you're on the back foot, you could buy for the sake of it. You panic buy. We've heard that said a lot. Um, and that can sometimes have a negative. Do you know what I mean? You might spend 15, 20, which isn't a lot of money, but in the summer, that's 20 million you can't now use, and you might be able to get a better player for the same money, or the extra 20 million on top of, say, 50. Now get you a 70 million player, which could really turn your fortunes around. So, yeah, I hope we don't panic buy, but from what I've seen from Arteta and Edu, they won't be bullied into paying over the odds. They won't panic buy. You look back at the summer, we needed a centre mid before the injury to Onana. Um, we needed a winger. They went. Did they go for Tillemans? We'll never know. They actively put a bid in for Douglas Luiz. That got turned down. Again, we could have panicked and paid an extra 5, an extra 10 million on top, but we stuck to our principles. We didn't get him. At the time, it looked like a bad decision. We didn't get an extra centre midfielder in, especially for cover for Partey. Onane's injured. We know Partey's history. At the time, it looked like a bad move. Again, against Man United, it was a bad move. Do you know what I mean? I know all the fans are sitting there thinking, if we just got cover for Partey, maybe this game would have been different. But if you look where we are now, Yes, Partey missed 3 games. Yes, we were weaker, but we managed to win 2 out of those 3 games. I believe we won 2 out of 3 games. We lost to United. We sit top of the league, 5 points clear. So it didn't really affect us too much. So I don't think this board will get bullied into transfers. However, coming back from the World Cup, it is a longer kind of part of the season. We only had 14 Premier League games leading up to it. So we got a couple more, and in the second half of the season, let's say. So it's it's going to be a bit more tasty, and obviously the Europa League kicks back in. We obviously need to play better players in that competition. In start of the competition, obviously you can play a bit more rotation. It was important to get top spot. However, going into February and the competition restarts, you almost need to be playing your first team in that now. There are some big teams dropping into this Europa League. There's some good teams still left in it. So every game you have to go with your best squad, I think. So we do need to bring up the standard of the squad. I think the 11, when everyone's fit, is good. However, I feel the drop off behind that 11 is what needs upbringing, and that includes our boy Granit. The drop off when he's not playing is considerable. Do you know what I mean? Same as Partey, same as Jesus. So yeah, we do need to strengthen. I've just heard from my guy Silver One that Ozzy might be joining me in 5 minutes. I don't know if I want smoke with Ozzy. I'll be honest, but I'm here for it. So yeah, but yeah, how quick we get some transfer business done. We obviously see the picture. Edu, Kroenke, Arteta looked like he was out having dinner and was in a picture with someone from AFTV. So hopefully they're actively searching, maybe talking to some agents out there, who knows, but hopefully we get something over the line quickly, because as much as I love Eddie, I don't want him leading a line. And the only reason I don't want him leading the line in Jesus' absence is because if anything goes wrong, everyone's going to blame Eddie, and it's not fair on the kid. So that's my only reason. I've got faith in him. We saw what he can do in that, do you know what I mean, that little cameo spell at the end of the season. He's done pretty well. So he's shown what he can do, and this team we have got now is considerably better than what it was last season. So I feel Eddie can do it, but for me, let's get someone else in there. Just take a bit of pressure off the guy, because Arsenal fans will be gunning for him. And in the building, we have. Nice to see you, son. How you doing, my friend? You all right?
Doing good, bro. Doing good. You know, this World Cup's been fucking interesting, you know, but I'm hearing this chat about you chatting about Granit Xhaka, and I'm like, what's going on? Well, what's this? What's this blasphemy? You know, like,
yeah. Should I give a little breakdown? Should I give a little breakdown? What's happened?
Oh, you break it down and I'll break you down. Go
on. So, guys, if you're not in the group chat, which a lot of you won't be who are watching, a tweet came in earlier and it said Granit Xhaka is returning to training. He's flying straight to Dubai, where he'll meet up with the Arsenal team. Blah 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 blah. And it had Granit Xhaka's comments about returning to it, and I just simply said just a couple of words, if I'm honest, and it seemed to rile up a few. I said he's a narcissist. And my reason being, now, whether he's gone back to training or not, I don't know. Whatever it is, there might be an agreement that all the boys say, you know, when we come out of the World Cup, let's go straight back. We never know. My thing is, why are you publicizing it? What are you looking for? Like, what is the need? You could just go about your business quietly, go back to training. If we see you in a picture, we could be, oh my God, Granit Xhaka's back in training. Oh, hooray. And we can keep moving. But it's that constant need to be in that eye to show me, to say he's the hero almost. I don't, it does my nut. Again, I asked the question earlier, where's Partey? Where's Turner? I've heard from them, and they spoke about the World Cup, the disappointment and whatever else, but do you know what I mean? They spoke about them things, and this guy's talking the hero talk. He's going back to Arsenal training, whoop-de-doo. So yeah, that was my stance, and then of course
that's dedication. That's Gumsa. That's dedication. So this is it. Now listen to this, right? You didn't care. I don't listen to this, guys. Like in the chat, whoever's watching this, right? If Granit Xhaka didn't show up to training, Gumsa would be the first one to come on and say, where's Granit Xhaka? Where's this? Where's that? Where's the devotion? Everyone's talking about him being captain. So then Granit Xhaka, what he does is is he goes, look, I've just, World Cup, did the best I could. I'm jumping back into training. My devotion, my commitment is all to Arsenal. Gumsa comes out and tries to hang him out to dry again. Can this guy do anything right by you? Now, let me tell you something. I'm half Serb.
Mm.
Yeah, and you guys know I'm a little bit of a nut. And all that aside, you got to give him credit. This season, not the previous ones, but this season, Granit Xhaka has been the best midfielder for Arsenal, bar none. Bar none. And you're going to talk Partey. Don't forget, Partey had been injured, right? Granit Xhaka was still on the pitch. That counts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he has been, honestly, we don't have Granit Xhaka on the pitch. We look like a shit show.
We've only seen it half a game.
But
3/4 of a game.
Relax yourself. And for me, it pains me to say this. Pains me because I don't like Granit Xhaka. But you got to call a spade here. This guy, right now, when it comes to Arsenal going forward and even coming back, this guy's box to box all day. He's got a work rate like most midfielders don't have in the Premier League. He doesn't stop. His commitment to Arsenal's great. And in many cases, a lot of these Arsenal fans are saying, my captain, my captain.
Yeah.
Because I can see the commitment on the pitch. Now, I'm not saying that, but you can see the commitment on the pitch. He believes it. You know what I mean? He's believing in this fucking process, wherever it may be. So I think what you need to do, right, is take a step back, take it for what it is, and see the commitment that your next captain is showing.
Not mine. He would. Nah, do you know? I hear what everyone says. I know people think I have an agenda against this guy, but do you know what it is? Do you know what my thing is? Again, even with football, it's the margins. Sometimes it goes. It's too, if that makes sense. It's one way or the other too much, and no one stands on their principles as such. And I'm a man. I sit where I am. So even with the armband thing, didn't really get to me because I actually quite like passion on the pitch. So I think it was disrespectful, but that must never be my issue with Xhaka. It's his overall game, and I agree with you. He's improved massively. Again, maybe he's not improved as a player. Maybe we've now put him in the right system. He's now got the right player behind him. I've gone on record and said before, I think Xhaka was one of our worst buys ever. Not the worst player we brought. So there's a difference to it. And the reason why I stipulate that is you're an intelligent guy. When we brought Xhaka in, we had the Wiltshires, the Cazolas, the Ramseys, Ozil. We had these flair players. And what we always thought we lacked was a defensive midfielder. Like Alex Song was good, but obviously we lost him. Then Coquelin came in, Flamini
he was
came back at that time. It was always like we're just that one DM away to release them boys and let them go and do what they want to do. And what ended up happening for me was we brought Xhaka in and we thought he was the DM. No one could tell me any different. We thought he was coming in to be the DM to allow Cazorla, Ramsey, Wiltshire, Ozil to go and shine. And that never happened. And what we ended up doing was then buying extra DMs to sit next to Xhaka. So we then brought in Torreira. El Nene was, I'm not sure if he came in before or after, but El Nene was around.
I think before. El Nene was a Wenger signing.
Yeah, you're right. Xhaka was as well. I think Xhaka had one season with Wenger.
I
then look at the players what we had. I know football changes, but we lost a lot of our attacking flair to almost not cover up his faults, but he was going to play. He was the main man. He's got to play, and it's like, what do we put next to him? It's taken for Thomas Partey to come in to say, we've now fixed it. So we've ended up. Do you know what I mean? So this is my feeling was actually if Partey came in all them years ago, again, this is all hindsight. You can never know what happened. If Partey came in as a DM who's playing the way he is, Wiltshire, Ramsey, Ozil would have probably thrived a lot better under Partey. Exactly. So we've almost had to rebuild. It's taken a bit of time, and it's not Xhaka's fault. But sometimes you buy players and you have to stick with certain players. You have to, do you know what I mean? And we've almost transitioned. We've gone full circle. Now we're looking at your Odegaards, your Vieiras, your Smith Rowes are going to play, and we can now thrive in them areas because Partey's going to be the mainstay. So that is the reason why I kind of said, for me, he's probably one of our worst signings because of what it symbolised as an Arsenal fan for me. It was, we brought a DM in and we had to buy more DMs to back up the DM, if that makes sense, to support the DM. So, yeah, it's one of those things for me. However, this season, he's been a lot better. He has been one of our better players. I could sit here and say that. Again, I think better player, most important player, maybe that's why I get it mixed up a little bit because he might be our better player, but he's not our most important. So that's why I get frustrated, because I think Partey, when he's not there, you do see a massive drop off, a considerable drop off. And again, even in Xhaka's performances, his performance drops from an 8 to a 6 when there's no Partey. It's hard to judge Partey without Xhaka because we haven't seen it as much. So again, I'm honest, I'm fair. We've definitely seen more Xhaka with Sambi Lokonga or Xhaka and El Nene more than we've seen Partey with one of those guys. So I'll wait and see. Do you know what I mean? There might be some games where we see Partey with Sambi Lokonga, Partey and El Nene, Partey and Smith Rowe, Partey and Vieira. Then I can judge to see if Partey's game drops from an 8 to a 6, or if it's just the other way around. And that's when I can give you my who's the most important midfielder, who's the better midfielder. I do feel Partey allows the rest of the team to play. So it's all good and well. You lot are playing really well out there and doing your thing. But if Partey's not doing his job right, you lot can't thrive. And I think that's forgotten about. Even the style of play, everything has to go through this guy. He gets us out, gets us playing forward. The rest of you now, you're facing forward, you can play football. It's a lot easier facing forward and playing football than receiving it with your back to goal and players coming up behind you. It's a lot easier. So yeah, we can't skip over this Partey guy just because Xhaka's doing the lovely stuff in the end. And it's a bit like the Lampard, Gerrard conversations with centre midfielders of past, who's the best. People say Lampard and they call his numbers. And again, everyone's got a different style of football they like. How I like football, I like total football. So Lampard doesn't come in the conversation as one of the best for me, because I'm watching what Gerrard done, box to box, done everything to a high level, and his goals and assists were very, very high. For me, Vieira and Yaya Toure, best centre midfielders ever in the Premier League, can do both sides of the ball very, very well to such a high standard. And this is why it frustrates me when people talk about Xhaka sometimes, because yes, he's playing well, but if you think he can lace the boots of some of them players I've just called, or even some players in the Premier League now, you've got it all twisted. And the system is working so well, it's allowing him to really do it. And it's the same as Lampard at Chelsea. There was a reason why Lampard couldn't replicate that form for England, and that's because Essien and Makelele done such a good job behind him. It was just go and do that last bit. Just go and do the last bit. And he was quality at it, don't get me wrong. You're telling me who's the best goal scoring midfielder in the Premier League? Yeah, by far it's Lampard. You know what I mean? You couldn't deny the technique, the way he strikes a ball, the way he arrives in the box, can finish right foot, left foot, volley, half volley, header, like anything. You know what I mean? He's tucking. Couldn't deny that side of it. But if you're talking midfielders, he's not lacing the boots of Gerrard, Vieira, those guys. So Ozzy Guna's back. Let's get him back in.
I don't know what happened there.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
I was hearing Gumsa. I was hearing everything. And I know what you were talking about and I'm just going to track back. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So we were discussing the Jack Wilshires, the Santi Cazolas. We were talking to Mesut Ozils and Granit Xhaka coming in to fill the CDM role. Granit Xhaka was never a CDM.
Yeah, I agree with that. But that's what he was brought in to do, wasn't it? And this is...
Yeah, he's brought into Arsenal as a centre mid under Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger making it out like, oh, look, Thierry Henry was a left winger when I turned him into a striker. I can turn fucking Tony Adams into a goalkeeper. So Granit Xhaka comes in and, believes in the Arsene Wenger, I'm going to turn you into a new right winger. You know what I'm saying? I'll turn you into the new CDM, but it doesn't work. And so it was a square peg into a round hole. And don't get me wrong, it didn't help Arsenal having him there because he was out of position. And I wasn't, even last season, I was like, we need a number 8. I need a number 8. And the only reason I thought this is because I never saw him go forward. And I thought to myself, does this guy not know how to move the ball from box to box? Because that's his role. But it seems to me this season he's actually been given the green light to be a number 8, go forward, get into the mix. And to be perfectly honest, he's looking better than most of our midfielders. Like, I know we're talking about Emil Smith-Rowe, who's injured most of the time. Emil Smith-Rowe is very injury prone. And I'm not going to sit there and say, Emil Smith-Rowe could be the next one. I've got a player here who's not injury prone, who's currently doing bits. And Thomas Partey, beside Granit Xhaka, looks good because you got your number 6, you got your number 8. It completes a squad and your so-called number 10 in Odegaard. The team looks better because everyone's in the right positions. Granit Xhaka is in his preferred position, so he's able to excel. And the funniest thing is, right, you've had a player who's been out of position for so long, finally comes into a team and is allowed to play his position and he performs. Many cases, when you get a player who has been out of position forever, when you put him in his natural position, he flops. He has a hard time because he doesn't know if he's coming or going. And this is the thing as a fan that you need to look at, because in the reality, from going from the defensive midfield to the right back position, it's two different things. But if I put you in right back when you're a CDM for 3 or 4 years, and then I put you into the CDM position, you're not going to be good at either one of them. This guy's come in, he's playing number 8 like he's been doing it for years. So that's why when people talk about him, and I'm not a big fan, I say, look, a spade. Odegaard hasn't been as good as him. He hasn't been as influential. Thomas Partey's great at what he does, but he's been injured. He's been injured. And in the games that Granit Xhaka has been there, it's more than just performance on the pitch. It's also leading the team. Every time they score a goal, he's in the huddle. That's just one. Come on, let's go. He's still the captain, just without the armband. And that adds to it with a young team. You need that player, that character that you look up and think, yeah, you know what I mean? This guy's, he's going to pull me up if I fuck up. And right now, he's leading by example. His performances have been good, Gumsa.
His performances have been good. I'll be real. As I said when you was gone, however, what I was talking about when you was gone was the role change, the difference it makes. One thing he gives you than some of the other 8s is defensively he's stronger. Yeah. And you see the genius of Arteta and how he's got them flowing. There's a goal, there's an angle of whose goal was it? I cannot remember who scored it. It was just before the end of the season. I can't remember. I have to find it. I'll send it to you. But his position, the starting position, is vital. And this is the genius of Arteta. It's the ball's getting played around through the back. Partey's coming and showing, and then Jesus drops in and comes and gets the ball, and he then moves it quicker. And you see where Xhaka is. Xhaka the whole time is just up the top of the pitch, and it's almost taken off that risk factor, because we've all seen it. Xhaka playing with his back to goal, he's not the best. He is a lot better, and we've seen it at Switzerland when he's facing forward with the ball at his feet. He can now see the pitch, and he has got the wand of the left foot. So he is a lot stronger when he's doing that. He's not a transitional player where I'm going to get it, turn, and get us playing forward. When he receives it with his back to goal, he normally passes it the way he's facing, and that's fine. Keep the ball ticking over, recycle it. This does not lose it, and that's fine. So if you look at his starting position straight away, he's a lot higher, and he then does the last. Do you know what I mean? That advanced 8 role when we've got good possession. That is, when we haven't got possession, he's very strong and he's back there and he's solid, and that's what he does give you over some of the other 8s in the league. My only question is when I see what other 8s also bring in the attacking area, they could bring a lot more. And if we're giving him that license and that free role, look at the goal Willock scored the other day against Southampton. And I don't even remember it. If you watch it back, it's Willock racing against Maitland-Niles. And in a million years, I never thought Willock would be able to stay away from Maitland-Niles. And he managed to he goes through the middle and he's off, and Maitland-Niles is coming. He can't catch him, and Willock scores it, a good little finish. And if we're allowing my 8 to have that license, actually, I might want a bit more in the final third. And we're getting away with it now. Again, you're going to lose a little bit. You might lose a little bit. But
the number 8...
It's
your number 8. It's a very fine line with an 8. The number 8 is very, sorry to cut you off. Is a very important role. You know what I mean? And this is where people will say, "I want my number 8 to score goals." Don't you want him to defend as well? Oh, but he has to defend. What do you want him to do? Everything? Wait a minute. The number 8 is probably one of the. It's the busiest role you're going to get. The number 10 is walking around having a good time. The number 6 can hang back. The number 8, he's a link between. He's that guy that has to go back into the box and defend. He's that guy who has to transition the ball, maybe bring the ball forward, maybe take the pressure off the number 6. He's the guy who has to continue his run, link up with Zinchenko, link up with Martinelli, link up with the striker, and then track back. So the number 8 is a very important role. Willock, okay, yes, he scored himself a goal. But do you trust Willock to go back there defensively?
Yeah.
Fuck no. He's a shambles defense.
Lightweight.
I'll flick him.
It's one of them.
He's a 10, not even an 8. He's more of a 10 than an 8, Willock.
You'd be surprised. I've watched a lot of. I love Willock, to be fair. I always have. You know me already. Them young boys that come through, I've always got a little affinity for him.
Yeah.
But I think it's. Again, I understand why the gas is there for Xhaka at the moment, because he's gone from 0 to hero, and I fully understand it. Like, you asked me 2 years ago, this is what we'd be seeing from this guy. I'd say not in a million years. Not in a million years.
Yeah, of course you wouldn't. You'd be like, no way, Granit Xhaka, get out of here.
Yeah.
He's done. Throw him in the bin.
Yeah. So again, I think for me, it's just the levels it's gone to. Like, keep it realistic, because I said if I was to call out 8s well, and it seems like we're comparing him with eights like Yaya Toure, and don't get me wrong,
Nah,
Yaya Toure different,
I'm
and
not going
again,
to
he
compare
wasn't
him with
even an
Yaya
eight. Sometimes
Toure,
he'd
Roy
play
Keane.
everywhere. Gerrard, them guys there. And that's what I say. So even now, I'm saying, yeah, Xhaka's doing very well, but it's still. So when
Not
I'm
yet.
saying there's still, you can still improve massively. I think there's players out there who would. And again, this is the thing though. You need strength in numbers, and there'd be games for Granit Xhaka, and there'd be games if we got Tillemans or Smith Rowe. Let's say Smith Rowe. We got Smith Rowe. There'd be games
Yeah.
for Smith Rowe for me, and there'd be games for Xhaka for me. And again, I look at the United teams. When it was a 2-horse race, them times, them good days, and they
Yeah.
had someone like Park Ji-sung who probably started 6 games a season, and 2 of them was against Arsenal, and 2 of them was against Chelsea. Like he was just there for them games. It's like, right, we got Ronaldo, we got Rooney, we got this
Yeah.
person, but actually Park Ji has to play because he's going to give me up and down. He's going to double up on Perez or Junenberg, whoever it is. He's going to, do you know what I mean? He's going to do that role. So for me, there's definitely, again, it's never a question of selling Xhaka. Like before last season, it was get him out.
Yeah.
This
Get
year,
him
it's
out
not even
now.
about that. It's not.
Mourinho
It's
wants
about,
him, have him with a case
yeah,
of beer, you know?
yeah. I'll drive and pay for his ticket, whatever it is. Whereas
Yeah,
now,
all that.
but actually, is there still extra? Because again, I look at him in the final third in them tight moments where it's got to be quick play, 1-2s around the edge of the box. He's not his strongest game. I'm not saying he's bad. He's not his strongest. And you watch other players who play that.
Well, look, I mean,
They're killers. And
the way
again,
I
it's how do you
look,
take Arsenal to the next level, isn't it?
but he's created a few chances himself.
Yeah, he's done well.
He's created,
He has done
you
well.
know, and with respect, Odegaard does the same sort of thing. But let's be honest, this season he's what, like 3 goals, 3 assists? Granit Xhaka?
Yeah, his numbers are good for it. Yeah, as I said, considering, but and again,
it's not bad. I mean, it's
yeah.
not. It's not. You know, like, and that's a number 8 who hasn't been a number 8 in how long? Fucking forever. That's not bad. And
the importance of goals as well have been very important. Some of them have been, and good finishes. As I said, I'm not taking anything away from his game at all. Like he has surprised a lot. But again, it's just systems, isn't it? And again, even when I watch certain things back and I look at Jesus' position, and we're going to get onto Jesus because he's not scoring as much, but actually, if you look what he's doing for the team, and I know we've all been saying it, but actually look at the position, because where maybe it could be Xhaka to drop in there, get the ball and turn and play, Jesus does it, which allows Xhaka to go further high. Do you know what I mean? There's just them little things, and we might turn around and say, well, if we put Willock in there, then Jesus will still come in this area. But actually, what we've seen with Arteta,
we put Willock in there, then we're exposed if Partey goes forward.
Maybe. But even that with Arteta, with Arteta, he's built a system which is very interchangeable. This is why Tierney's not starting as much, because actually, if you look at the setup, Zinchenko goes into Xhaka's position. Xhaka pushes up the pitch, and then Jesus will kind of drop into a 10. Odegaard's on the right. Do you know what I mean? It's so interchangeable.
Yeah.
Actually,
is it horses for courses?
Well.
Horses for courses?
I think, and again, it's probably an element.
I like it.
It didn't work last year because we didn't have the set left back who could drop into the midfield role. So it's you know what I mean? It's little things which is adapted, and it's working. You know what I mean? Again, it might go back in 3 weeks' time. People might suss, and we might go back to Tierney on the left, where he's just got to bomb down the left hand side. Xhaka, don't move. You stay next to Partey. We overload on that. Do you know what I mean? It could change within a week. You never know.
But that's what you want, though. You want that diversity. See, look. Yeah, exactly. You got your Zinchenko that's going to play style of football where he links up with Xhaka, and Xhaka even pulls into the left back role and switches positions. Tierney comes in now; he's more defensive. You have the same thing with Tomiyasu. Excuse me, playing at the right back, a different type, a right back to Ben White, but a different dynamic. So our wing backs, a left and right wing back, different dynamics, brings out different aspects for our midfielders. Do you know what I mean? Like Thomas Partey has a green light to go forward, you know, a little bit more when Ben White is there, because Ben White sits a bit further back, whereas Tomiyasu likes to bomb forward a little bit more, so Partey sits a little bit deeper to cover that.
To cover the right channel,
Yeah, Granit Xhaka, when he's got Zinchenko there, he's like, oh, this is all right, great link-up play, I can get to Martinelli. But now when Zinchenko comes in the midfield, right, I need to figure out if I'm switching up with Zinchenko or if I'm moving forward. What are we going to do? Play 3 in the back? And these are the transitions that you see on the pitch all the time. And Moss is talking about, you know, Granit Xhaka is slow. That's true. He is slow. You know who else is slow? The guy I like very much, Youri Tielemans. Youri Tielemans is a great midfielder. He's not very fast. But as a number 8, right, a number 8 doesn't have to be flying like Santi Cazorla. A number 8 needs to be able to move the ball. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I can run up and down the pitch with the ball, right? And Gumsa, what he could do is he could sit in the middle of the park, ping a ball to the left-hand side, and as quick as I run with the ball, I'm not going to catch it. I I can't outrun a pass, right? So the quickest way to move the ball is with a pass. And a number 8's role is to do pretty much everything and break up a little bit of play. Granit Xhaka is doing that. So a number 8 doesn't have to be too fast. He needs to be solid on the ball. He needs to be able to command the midfield, but he needs to be able to go from box to box. And right now, Granit Xhaka is doing that. Yuri Tielemans, I rate highly. I would love him at Arsenal. I love the competition between him and Xhaka. Not him and Partey, him and Xhaka.
Yeah.
And Tielemans, another good defense. He's very good defensively as well. He's very good defensively. He's not bad.
Yeah.
And that would be a good dynamic. But that's neither here or there. We don't know what's going to happen in the transfer window now. So
yeah, that's the thing. I think that position whoever we do sign has got to be able to play both. For me, I think I'd be actually quite impressed with El Nene. It's one of those things, and I think this is where I feel for some
injury.
They could have 4 good games on the bounce, and the moment we lose one with one of them not in the team, like just say Partey's injured, El Nene comes in for 5 games, we could play 4 good ones. We lose one, and it's all El Nene's fault. And it's just like, hold on a second, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. We need to stop putting that. And again, I think the same is going to happen with Nketiah. And this is for me. I'm an Eddie. You know, I love my boy. It's my guy over there. But I'm saying, go and get a striker, just because I don't want to hear. We could go into that Newcastle game, and I'm telling you, that's a 50-50 game for me. Newcastle have been unbelievable this year. They're picking up form, and I'll be honest, they've got probably more live wires than us. We've got, I think, a better structure than Newcastle the way we play. But Newcastle just have a threat in Almiron, St. Maximin. I don't think them two know what they're going to do half the time. And they're dangerous. Yeah. When you got players like that, they're dangerous as hell, because you know sometimes you can think, I can let him shoot from there. He's not. It was like Papier Cisse. Do you remember Papier Cisse for Newcastle?
Yeah. I remember that.
Anyway, and you're thinking, what can I do against that? Like, he's got no right scoring from there. Do you know what I mean? So Newcastle at the moment, they quite frighten me. And my fear is we go into that game, we may lose it. Just say we lose it, and it's going to be straight Eddie Nketiah, this person, that person. We've lost that with Jesus in the team. So we do need to ease up off some of these fringe players a little bit, but we do need to strengthen this squad.
You're right.
Has anyone impressed you in the World Cup?
Sorry?
Has anyone impressed you in the World Cup?
Okay. World Cup early stage. Now, everyone probably knows I've been disappearing active with this World Cup. Work, but I've been watching. And one team that impressed the living crap out of me was Morocco. When I watched them play Croatia the first time, I was like, what the hell am I? This was a game. Like, I've seen a lot of boring games in the World Cup. This game, don't get me wrong, we all saw the result, but you're on the edge of your seat. And I started watching Morocco a lot, very close. And the more I see of them, a little bit top heavy, not very great defensively.
Yeah.
But Brazil also, top heavy. Morocco looked like a dark horse, a very underrated team that are getting results, getting those wins, and they're building some momentum. Like, you look at the team, you look at their players. There was a bit of disbelief, but I think after the Croatia battle, you look at the players and they're starting to think, we got this. Yeah. And I think that drive, that belief is going to take Morocco a little bit further. That's a team that really surprised me.
Do you know as well? I think, you're in Qatar, obviously. A lot of teams are now getting eliminated. So you've got 8 teams left in there. I think for the neutrals left in that over there now, I think they're all going to be kind of looking for Morocco. Like, if you've got to choose any team now, what's left, if you, I don't know, support Germany or whatever it is, you're probably looking like, who can I back? It might be Morocco, because you've all kind of got rivalries with France. You've probably got bad blood with England, Brazil. Do you know what I mean? We all like Brazil, but
I've got no bad blood with England, but I'm not convinced.
Yeah, you know you personally. But do you know what I mean?
So unconvincing.
If you got to pick a team out there who you want to achieve, it'll probably be Morocco, and it's almost that underdog story, isn't it? Of all those teams that you expect them to be there, the other 7 you expect to be in that position. Morocco is the one you don't. So I think anyone now in and around it, and again, the atmosphere the Moroccan fans are going to bring, you can't help but buy into that. Do you know what I mean? So they're a tricky opposition. Portugal did look really good the other day. I'm not taking the goals away. They looked very, very good the other day. So, but as individual players, have you seen anyone? Because I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said this is probably one of the first World Cups until the Portugal game. No one's really stood out. Normally you have a breakthrough. But it had to be a young player, but it's like, where's this guy been? I remember like Suker in the Euros when he just had that game. Do you know what I mean? There's James Rodriguez when he just burst.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, good name, but he just
World Cup did it and then disappeared.
yeah, Salif Jao and El Hadj Diouf got good moves off the back of a World Cup. So, did you see any players stood out for you?
You know, it's hard. You're right. Like, sorry about the background noise, guys. I've got,
Good.
it's early morning here in Australia. We've got guys doing lawns. I cannot do anything about this. So sorry about any sort of feedback you're getting. My bad. I'm trying to mute, but I'm gonna have to say something to do. And he's getting closer. Good on you, man. You fuckwit. Thanks, mate. To be honest, it's hard. It's very hard because as you said, individual players really haven't stood out for me. Messi has been missing. Like, everyone look at Messi and look at Ronaldo. Look at what? Who? Neymar? Who? They haven't really, those big names haven't really come to. I mean, Vinicius Jr., yes, I think I could say Vinicius Jr. to an extent has started to, I think, show us more and what he's capable of. But I haven't really seen too much more anywhere else. And that's and maybe actually, and I'm going to call this out, Bukayo Saka. I mean, we all know he's a great player, but he's really starting to show something for England.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans are starting to realize what we see. Again, the culture of football has changed. It is about goals and assists now. You cannot watch a game. Again, I was talking to my mum the other day. She's like, "Oh, Bruno pulled Portugal through," and I was like, "You do know one goal was a cross, which Ronaldo just cut his hair the night before, so he missed out on it by an inch. The keeper couldn't do much about it, and the second was a penalty. But yeah, have it. He scored 2 in the game, so he was brilliant. But
Let's step back. Let's step back. This
is where football is. So again, you look at Gakpo's goals and feel like, yeah, he's scored a lot. Mbappe's been scoring, but again, no one's kind of getting me off the edge of my seat, and that's what I'm missing. And I think you're right. I think Vinicius and maybe Saka are two that they get the ball, and I'm starting to move a little bit, thinking something's going to happen.
Well, what's going to happen is he's going to assist, he's going to shoot, and something will happen when they're on the ball. So it's exciting time with them. But when Messi gets the ball, it's like, what's he going to do?
Before you come off earlier, I was speaking about that on the stream. I was saying, the Argentina, look at what happened with Portugal when they benched Ronaldo, and the team performance was a lot better. And now they're starting to think, is Messi, yes, he's pulled them through. He's capable of individual brilliant of their moments, isn't he? But in terms of system and football now, system is important. It has been for a long time, and it's very hard to build a system around someone who's 35, 36 and getting them to do what a 24-year-old can do. And I think
I mean, he had the stat for the player who walked the most who's been there's a stat out there for the player who's walked around the most on the pitch. It's Messi.
I can believe that.
And I was like, really? And I looked at it. Shit, facts. And against Australia, my guys, right? I wasn't impressed. Yeah. My team is not great. Australia are not great, right? But the way they played against us, they were all out defending to try to beat lowly and weak Australia. And Messi was where? The goal that he scored against Matt Ryan should have saved that. Apart from that, Messi was where?
Yeah. It's hard to see.
That's why I wasn't convinced. And that's why a player like Messi, everyone looks at it and says, oh, look for Messi for quality.
I think you're frozen again. He's frozen, bless him. Let's see if he joins back in a minute. But yeah, we had the same convo I was saying about the Messi thing as well. Let's get to some comments. Tillerman's quality, he would be pumped to play for us, I agree. This one here, centre mid like Ruben Neves, I love this guy. He'd be a good option for the 6 or 8. Think he could do the Xhaka role really well, but play CDM for Wolves. Yeah, again, we've more seen him in the deeper role. Even for Portugal, he's played the deeper role. 100 mil is what someone's saying. That's a bit too much for me. But he looks like he's a player. I like his hair as well. Something about him. Yeah, I do like Neves. Contract running down in 2024, much cheaper. Fred and Paqueta Crisp started ahead of Bruno G. Yeah, that was a shock to me. I think Guimaraes is levels ahead. Footmoss is saying kudos from Ghana and plays for Ajax. Yeah, he's been good. Amrabat, what about CMI centre mid? Morocco had great defensively. What club's he at? I'm not too sure. Is that the one? I don't remember too much about him, to be fair. I'm not going to play like I do. Hakimi doing the waddle after Penn was quality. Yeah. And yeah, grew up in Spain. I was listening to that. He said he never really felt Spanish. That's why he chose Morocco, even though he was born and raised in Spain. Winner Argentina versus Holland. is his. Who's he saying? I think Holland might do it, and yeah, we'll definitely take Gakpo. Um, and Goncalo Ramos, yeah, so he's been a surprise package for me. And again, it's only one game, but watching him, he reminded me very much of Olivier Giroud. I don't know what you lot thought. His finishing was very much like Giroud's finishing. That first goal, he was a rocket, and we've seen Giroud do that. We've seen him miss a lot, but we've also seen him rip some into the top bins. Like he has no right scoring from there. Um, the second was very very Giroud-esque. You know what I mean? Pulled back, then got across his man on the front post, and a lovely little left foot touch finish at the front. And that's Giroud's finish, isn't it? Across the front man, and just yeah, just use again that area there. You should be kind of going with your right foot, but he just had this knack of just using the outside of his left foot and just working it into the corners. So yeah, the second was very much in the third as well. It looked like hasn't got much pace, Goncalo Ramos. He might have just been tired legs because it was late in the game, but he managed just to get there. But the finish was beautiful. So yeah, I was watching that. I don't think he just reminds me of Olivier. Maybe go with him, but I don't think Benfica need the money. They've absolutely, do you know what I mean, pulled Liverpool's pants down for him for Nunes. So they probably won't be looking to sell. Aussie's back.
I hate VPN. Okay, because this is what I just figured out why I'm getting knocked out. It's my VPN. So
all good. Hopefully you got it sorted now.
I just said fuck you to VPN, so I'm no longer protected. I'm exposed.
Yes, the hackers can get you.
Come get me. I'm waiting. Yeah.
From what I'm saying, Goncalo Ramos from Benfica, surprise is maybe his pick of the tournament. I know it's only one game, but what do you think?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I was just saying it earlier to the guys who are listening. He gives me Olivier Giroud vibes.
Yeah.
The finishes were very Giroud-like. The first one, he's absolutely spanked that in there from not say a different angle, but you're not expecting him to.
That was on his left side, wasn't it?
That was on his left side. And then I'm not sure if he's left or right footed.
Yeah, and I saw that and I went, is he left or right footed? Because that was powerful. And when I saw that, I went Podolski, because Podolski used to do the same thing. He used to aim for the goalkeeper's face, right? Yeah. That was his trick. And when I saw that, I went, whoa, that gave me Podolski vibes. I went, I like that. That's what you want. I mean,
great finish.
Yeah, it was. And
then I watched the second goal, and that was very Giroud-like. You remember the days of Walcott getting down that right across the box, and Giroud used to make this run
sneaky
to the front
touch
and the cheeky left foot finish. Do you know what I mean? And I watched that, I was like, oh my god, that's Giroud. And then the third one, again, he kind of went, but it seemed like a lack of pace when he was moving. But the finish was immaculate, and I was just sitting there thinking, he just like all three goals. He might not be anything like Giroud, but just those three goals, I just thought all of them had a little bit of Giroud about them. Just the finesse, like he's a good size,
calm,
he can hold his
very
own,
calm.
but just that little finesse in the box, like just knows how to finish. And Giroud, again, what's your thoughts on Giroud before we go on? Because again, he's taken our Henry's record. I see you got a lot of Henry shirts behind you. I'm quite happy you've taken it, because Henry's always going to get his flowers, and rightly so. Giroud's never got the flowers he deserves from me, even in an Arsenal shirt. Definitely in a France jersey. He said he went the last tournament, he didn't score a goal, and they went on to win it. And again, you've probably played with players where they're unsung heroes. It's like, yes, they don't do the fancy stuff, but actually they are the most important thing. And he allows everyone to play, but to still score 53 goals, I think he's got now. That's a crazy return for someone who is never been really like their first choice. Obviously, you got a lot of luck with Benzema being out for a few years because he didn't got a manager. But yeah, that's a lot of goals at international. I'll need to go back and check, see if he's stat padded against like San Marino and scored like 15 and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, then it might take the shine off the record. But
it's like Ronaldo's 18 goals last season for Man United. They came in like what, 5 games?
4 games, yeah. Tottenham.
Yeah, it's like oh, he got 18 goals in 5 fucking games. Where was he for the rest of the season? Anyway, we won't talk about that, are you dickhead?
Yeah.
No, Giroud, look, I'll be first to admit it. I was one of those guys that just wanted him gone because he wasn't prolific. He wasn't. I didn't have any confidence in Giroud as my number 9. But this guy's aged very well, like a fine wine, and he's continued to stay in and amongst the mix. And every team that he's gone to after Arsenal, even at Arsenal, he did some bits, but he seems to have left a footprint, and it's surprising. And look, to be honest, he hasn't gotten the thumbs up for all the work that he's done, but he definitely deserves it. He's not getting younger, but he's still putting them in the back of the net. Right now, every Arsenal fan would love to have Giroud on the bench, and instead of Jesus, have Giroud there instead of fucking Nketiah. And you do it.
I wouldn't even yes, it would change the style,
but you would
yes,
do it.
He would be able to do the pressing stuff, but actually, he offers you the other option. 80th minute, he comes on, and it's just linking up, put things in the box. I wouldn't be against him. But I actually, he's one of them players. Even though he's gone to Chelsea and whatever else, again at the time, I don't think anyone was mad at it because it meant we got Aubameyang. And I remember that triangle. They got Batshuayi. So Chelsea sold Batshuayi to Dortmund. We got Aubameyang. Giroud went to Chelsea. It was a little triangle. Do you remember it?
Was it because we got Lacazette first?
Yeah, we had Lacazette in the summer, and January,
and he was already second fiddle to Lacazette.
And
then Aubameyang came in, and that was like, well, I'm gone. And I think he asked Wenger to let him go because he's like, oh no, I'm not going to get a kick.
You're not going to get a game, yeah. And again, it triggered that, and we had to release him to get Aubameyang because they wanted Batshuayi. Chelsea wouldn't sell without Giroud. Dortmund wouldn't sell without a striker. So it was that little trickle on effect. We got one, Dortmund got one, Chelsea got one. Everyone was happy. So it was kind of like we understood he had to move on in order for us to get Aubameyang. He had to go Chelsea in order for them to release him. So I don't think there was any bad blood when he left. For as far as my knowledge, he hasn't ever come out and disrespected Arsenal or nothing like that.
He has.
He did, didn't he? Yes, he did. He did. The final.
Yeah.
Giroud, I'll take it back. Give on.
But you know what? I understand why he did it. I can understand it. Because when you look at it now with hindsight, and hindsight's a great thing, you think about it and you really look at Giroud, and we were all screaming for Lacazette, so was I. What a fuck up that was.
Yeah.
Because that was a big mistake with Lacazette. We could have
kept
Giroud.
The grass isn't always greener, is it? The grass isn't always greener.
Exactly. You think, we got Lacazette too late. That was the problem. We should have got him 2 years before. And
I think, again, I think if you look at everything in that era, I just look at that and it was just a bad era of football. And like you were saying earlier about changing your style and then having to readjust, I think Lacazette then readjusted to becoming a 9 because we were so defensive. We was all over the place. So he then got used to running back and defending, and then we started to play a bit of football, and it's actually I need you up there. It's like he then couldn't readjust, and he was a finisher at Lyon. He was unbelievable at first, and there's been a few strikers like that, like the Dembélés, Edouard, who you're thinking they're going to come on and do. And I look back and thinking actually we've dodged a bullet on quite a few of those strikers who we really wanted coming in from France or Scotland or whatever, and none of them have really kicked on. I think, like you're saying, we're quick to dismiss some players sometimes, aren't we? And actually, the grass isn't always greener, and sometimes it's better the devil you know.
Exactly. Yeah, it was. It's unfortunate with Giroud, but you know what? The way I see it now is Arsenal's in a better position. We're still a little bit frail, but we are in a better position now than what we have been in previous years. This squad, and not just right now. I'm looking at Arsenal, the youth project or whatever it may be, whatever you want to call it. I think about years to come, we're still going to have players in decent positions and players reaching like their heights in the years to come. They still haven't reached their peak yet. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And that's what's scary right now. Yeah, I know we got gaps. I know we've got no one for Jesus. We've got Nketiah, and we've had some players like Giroud and that come and go at the wrong times. Maybe now there should be the right times, whatever. But right now, as an Arsenal fan, you look at the team and you think to yourself, well, yeah, there's gaps, but look at your back line. Look at your midfield. The oldest player you have is Granit Xhaka. I think he's the oldest player in the midfield. And I think, what's he, 26, 27, something like that?
I think, him and Partey, I'll double check it. I think Partey is
age,
about 28.
Him and Partey? Oh, is it? I thought they were the same age.
20. Hold on, wait.
It's Thomas Partey. Who's older? Maybe Partey 28 and Granit Xhaka 27.
Hold on, my computer's
Guys in the chat, correct me and Gumsa if we are wrong.
No, Xhaka's 30. Xhaka's 30.
Is he? Oh, there you go. Xhaka, I thought he was 27. I doesn't even look at. So Xhaka's 30 years old.
And Partey, we're just trying to find him now.
28, 29.
Partey's 29. Yeah,
29. So our oldest two players on the pitch right now, Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka. Right. If you look at other squads, you look at other teams, they've got a lot of players that are going to be out the window very soon. If all we need to do is start thinking about midfielders and maybe wingers and this and that, this team can get stronger in years to come. It's just
100%.
it's unfortunate that some of the players that we did have, Gumsa, like your Girouds, like your Ozils, they came in patches. They didn't come together. You know what I mean? It was like when we needed 4 players,
players
Arsenal
away.
got 1.
Yeah.
We threw away all good players and then got that. Oh, here we got Mr. Ozil, and you got Ozil, and he can't do it all. And
that year we just signed Petr Cech was one of the worst transfer windows ever. And again, it's not Wenger's fault. I think we can all look back at that, but. His biggest problem was he protected those above him.
He loved the club, all that kind of crap.
Yeah. But just before we wrap up, what do you think the effect of the World Cup is going to have on this squad? Is it positive or negative? What do you think?
Obviously, Jesus is fucking. It couldn't get any worse, so we won't go there. On the squad, I think Bukayo Saka is going to come into he's going to come back into the squad like hungry as fuck. I think Martinelli's going to come back into the squad thinking, I need to prove myself so I can get minutes for Brazil now. So I've got to look in. I've only got seconds on for Brazil, not really real minutes. Now, when I come back to Arsenal, if I can prove that I can be their out-and-out left wing, if I can show that I've got that quality, it's just going to spur them on for the next few years to see if they can make that, like they can cement themselves in the England lineup or the Brazilian lineup. And these 2 players for me, I look at and think, shit, they've got like a push in the back now to prove something for themselves. And I think they'll use Arsenal as that sort of that boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with you because a lot of people, fatigue in that, but to leave Arsenal when we did at the way we did, they're going to be that element of buzz. And then the one thing that Xhaka's shown me is he's quick to get back to Arsenal. So that's showing you that I want to be there. There's pictures of Son Heung-min crying, going back to Tottenham. No, it wasn't really that. He's obviously crying because his team's gone out.
Those are the ones that can never be found, right? They can never be found, those ones.
The meme was brilliant, so I had to use it. But no, I think, like you're saying, I look at Neymar and Messi leading up to the World Cup. I've never seen them in form like that for a long time. Them 2 were in red hot form, and I'm watching it thinking they know the World Cup's coming, and they're really starting to put their foot on the pedal. And I've got no doubts about it. I guarantee when they go back to PSG, their standards are going to just drop a lot slightly because their whole ambition for them was going to that World Cup for obvious reasons. Especially Messi's at the end of his career. I want to win the World Cup. Neymar as well. Do you know what I mean? He's a lot older now, so as much as he looks young, he's actually quite up there in age. So he's probably thinking this is probably got maybe this one and one opportunity to win the World Cup. So for them, everything's kind of geared towards the World Cup. Saka, he's playing, but he knows he's got another 3 World Cups in him. Martinelli gone there as the extra and maybe getting minutes. So their desire is going to be completely different coming back from the World Cup compared to some of those name brand players who have been there, done it, seen the T-shirt. Do you know what I mean? So this could have a real positive thing for them. They've had a taster. So they're going to be thinking, I want more of that. Whereas not trying to compare them with Messi and Neymar, they've been there and done it. So I think that's going to really, really benefit them boys. I think it really is.
It's my time sort of thing. It's my time now. Check me out. Watch this. This is my first go. Watch when I go back to Arsenal. Wait for me in 4 years. What I mean? That kind of a thing to prove that. And I think they've got it in them. I think Martinelli more than Saka a lot. He's going to come back firing, ready to rumble. Martinelli more than anyone else. I think Martinelli's going to really come in hungry. Like we've seen him hit this season. He's hit the ground running. Yeah, his goals have dropped off, but I think now he's going to come back and he's going to prove a point. I think the point he's going to try and prove is, yes, Jesus is my partner in crime, but I think what he's going to try and show is that even without Jesus, you can rely on me. Watch this, and that's what I'm waiting to see from Martinelli as well. I was scared about this World Cup because of the injuries. I was more worried about our midfielders possibly copying it, maybe Xhaka getting injured, this and that. I wasn't expecting Jesus. But it was going to happen. We all knew it was. We all knew we didn't have that depth, and now we're here. So
it was all too good to be true going into it. Because again, before the window, it was like, can we get through this period without an injury? And I said obviously El Nene went, and then we had a Partey 3-week injury, and that was it. We managed to get through. I keep trying. That's quite bad because he's been really good for us. But I think because he wasn't there from the start, you
kind of forgot about him. It's like
Zinchenko. But again, most stacked, isn't it? Like Defensively, I've got no issues back there at all. Like, and to be fair to Gunnar King, he was the one that kind of highlighted it maybe a year ago. He was like, "What Arteta's come and done? He's fixed the back line first. Now he's gonna keep moving forward." And
Mm.
we've seen it. That I haven't seen Arsenal's back line look this strong since that Tony Adams and those guys' days. Even when we had
Tony Adams,
Sol and those guys.
Keown, Sol Campbell, Lauren, maybe.
But even coming towards the end of that, it was a strong back four. But afterwards, you might have a Luzny. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Segan, Senderos, those guys there. Whereas I look at this now, actually, the 8, I'm going to call it the 8 we got there, are strong. The 8 are strong. Do you know what I mean? And that's the difference. It's if we can get that in midfield and attack, yeah, we could do things. And yeah,
of course. I mean, look, that squad that you those defenders that you named. Remember when they were invincible? It was the bye time. They were out there. They were out the door. And these are players that Arsene Wenger inherited.
Mm.
So when you think about this and you compare Arteta to Wenger, it's not a comparison of success. Now forget that, apples and oranges. But you compare defensive signings for defensive signings.
Yeah, I think Arteta wins that.
Exactly, because what happened was when Arsene Wenger came in, he already had. I'm going to talk Dennis Bergkamp because I have to. So he already had someone like him there, because everyone forgets that Arsene Wenger didn't sign him. There was a guy called Roy back in the day, only for 10 seconds. We had Tony Adams, we had Martin Keown, we had David Seaman, best goalkeeper in England at the time. You know Lee Dixon, Steve Bold, the list goes on and on. A young Ashley Cole hanging out in the wilderness for Arsenal. They were all coming up. So these are players that he was able to say, okay, I've got a defensive line, I've got a good goalkeeper, I've got to worry about the midfield and the front line. By the time Arsene Wenger got to the Invincible era, he hadn't bought very many defender. He got Sol Campbell, big deal. Yeah. Ashley Cole came in from the juniors. He got Lauren, which was nice, but that was it. His centre backs, he didn't really have to change.
And even that, he didn't even buy Kolo and Lauren as defenders, though. He kind of transferred. Kolo came as a winger.
Exactly.
And Lauren played on
most people forgot about that.
Yeah. So again, he got the best out of it, didn't he? He really did.
Yeah. Whereas Arteta came in and he was fucked. His defensive line was ballerina. Do you know what I mean? You know, and Silver Fox, he had Holding. Sorry, he didn't cost 45 million or 55 million or whatever.
Don't forget
Socrates, you know, he had Kieran Tierney, don't get me wrong, but injury prone left back. He didn't come into a great deal.
A lot's to be said about that, about rebuilding a squad. It's not the easiest thing to do. And again, with a limited budget, let's say, because he's had to do it in stages. He's had to take a big hit on some of them. So again, we haven't even had the revenue come in to say, you look at Liverpool's rebuild, they rebuilt and then they got the big win for the Coutinho, which enabled them to go and get
Suarez,
Alisson and your Van Dijk. Yeah, so they had that. We haven't been able to really grab any money from anywhere. I think the biggest money we've ever grabbed is Iwobi, and that's, do you know what I mean? It's not even really life-changing, 40 mil. So he's had to do it very strategically, and it's not the easiest thing to do, rebuild. It really isn't. I was talking to some United fans the other day, and they're like, Ten Hag's doing the same thing. And I'm like, you're not doing the same thing as what we've done. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Your team, if we go through 1 to 11 right now, on paper, yes, football's not paid on paper, but actually your squad is a lot bit better than ours, really. And honestly, like, you can't compare it. You've got big money in Sancho. You've got, obviously, Rashford's come through. You've got Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro, you've got real players in there. Fred is not a bad player. Back line, not the greatest, but you've got Maguire, you've got Varane, who's won it all. You've got Martinez, who's a good centre back. Wan-Bissaka's 50 million. Luke Shaw, most expensive teenager, 30-something million. Like,
those big money players, big name players.
Yeah, so your rebuild's a lot different to our rebuild. You probably don't really need a rebuild. You probably need 2 or 3 little additions to really push you lot forward. Like, you lot was second in the league a couple of years ago, and you added Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo. So you're not in the same position Arsenal in when Arteta's come in. I mean, we haven't been in Champions League for 6 years or something crazy like that. Like, it's not the same.
Massive cleanup at Arsenal. Massive cleanup.
And like, I think
huge.
Someone said it earlier. I think there's only maybe 3 players still there from maybe the Wenger days. Do you know what I mean? And I think that might be what Holding, El Nene, and Xhaka. I think that might be it. And from that, there's only one of them that actually is a starting player. Do you know what I mean? It's been a big transition. And even from the Emery team, this team looks a lot different from the Emery team as well.
Emery wasn't even backed, but he was able to get a tune out of a broken piano, and he did it. And you got to I give him credit for that. That squad.
Looking back on it now, you realise how much he did do pretty well with that. Because
wow, like for that crap to get where it got, well done. And the same can be said even about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with the squad that he had at Man United. That same Man United team that he had struggled. He got his play, but they struggled, and he was able to still get results coming in. They dropped off. They got worse when he left, sort of, in a sense. So, I look, to be honest, I think the rebuild at Arsenal, the reason why it was massive is because since 2010, when Wenger should have retired. That's my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2010, when he should have retired, all the way up till about 17, 18, we did fuck all. But paper over the cracks, spend little dribs and drabs to keep ourselves somewhat relevant. And that comes to bite you in the bum, because at the end of the day, you end up with just a squad full of just rubbish. And that's why the job for Emery was too big, but only because he wasn't back. Now the job for Arteta is like, if we do the same thing that we did against Emery, then the next manager that we're going to get is going to be Steve Bruce. Do you know what I mean? Like, we screws Arteta, Steve Bruce in, and Arsenal drop into 10th. So I think they stuffed up and they tried to fix their mistakes by backing this guy. And he has been doing well for a novice. And I've said it a million times, he's a novice manager, and he's doing pretty well for a novice.
So, we're going to wrap it. We've been here for a good while. It's been a great stream. I've missed streaming. I haven't been on for ages. Like, I've missed it. Again, it's been quite nice not to be talking about Arsenal in a way, because I'm just happy where we are. Normally in off season, I'm stressing out. Hey, we need to do this. Why am I not seeing no links? And I'm sitting here just comfortable. Just like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and even if they don't, Arteta's got these boys balling out at the moment. So it's like we're top of the league on merit. We're not there because Man City are playing badly or Liverpool. No, we're there on merit because Man City's had their best start they've had under Pep. And we're still ahead of them. So I'm not saying we're going to win it, but we're doing our thing. So I'm not stressing really about. I believe Arteta and Edu, as I said earlier, if we go into the market this year, we're going from a position of power, which is different. I think last year when we was in a position of panic, and they didn't. They stuck to the horses, whether it was right or wrong, because we was only 1 point short, 1 win short. Do you know what I mean? Maybe one extra, maybe Guimaraes getting him, he would have made. I believe he would have made a difference. I think we would have got top 4 with him in there.
Yeah, he would have been great.
However, it is what it is. We're where we are now. We're on the right course. Again, top 4 was the mission last year. We almost made it, but do we think we'd be looking at a title challenge this year? Hell no. I would have been just, can we get top 4 again? Do you know what I mean? So actually, again, it's best progression, isn't it? Yes, we didn't quite meet the target last year, but this year we've exceeded massively. So
we've exceeded our expectations and every pundit's expectation of Arsenal this season. That's what we've done.
It's quite enjoyable to watch them, isn't it? Like squirm and try and back. They're trying to back what they're saying. No one seems to give Arsenal credit. It's just more, I still see Man City win the league. No, that's not what we're saying. We're not saying we're going to win it.
No,
we're title challengers. We're in about it, and we're having a great season. Just say it. Don't just turn it to, but Man City is still going to win it. They probably are, but let's not take away from because what you expected from Arsenal was 6th place. All the pundits were saying we'd be 6th this year, behind City, behind Tottenham, behind United. So,
mate, I honestly said that this season had to be 4th in Europa minimum, and that's what we should be expecting. No less than that. 4th in Europa. I heard all the chit chat about Tottenham having a great transfer window, and I was laughing my ass off, thinking I fucking don't know what movie you guys are fucking watching, but this looks like a fucking shit show to me. Well done. And to be perfectly honest, City have got more depth. And yes, I'll admit that. I've admitted that on plenty of fucking stream and said they've got a better squad, a complete squad. Their number 2 team is better than ours. So that's why they are going to be favourites, because when they do get an injury, they do have better players off the bench that can come in and do business. But credit where credit's due. Just like I gave Granit Xhaka credit, don't like it, but I will. I have to give Arsenal credit, even if I'm an Arsenal fan, that we are, like you said, where we are because we're playing the kind of football that we're playing. We're taking the game by the scruff of the neck. We're getting the results. We're getting 3 points, and you know what I mean. We're getting the job done. What more? I mean, remember Tottenham Hotspur had depth. They had so much depth. They lost Kulusevski, and it all went to shit because they got depth. Remember, now this is to Tottenham fans. You had depth. You lost Kulusevski, great player, but give you credit for that, great player. But you lost Kulusevski and you went to shit completely, just capitulated. But you guys were screaming about your depth. So if you have depth, losing one player shouldn't be an issue. We haven't been screaming about our depth. We've been saying we don't have any depth. And that's the reason why it could be a bit dangerous, right?
I'm with you. I love that. That's a great way to wrap it up. We're all happy. We're all smiling.
It's all good.
The debate about Xhaka, it just rain on with me. Nah, joking. I said I'll take what Ozzy's saying. I said our whole man that he's been playing very well, just to bring it back to the title. And actually, him rejoining, I know I look at it a certain way, but actually, let's look at it on. He had a chance to go off and enjoy his time with his wife and kids, and he'd rather be at the Arsenal. He'd rather be at the Arsenal. So it tells you about the team spirit at this club at the moment.
Tells you about his missus giving him a headache. Yeah. I've got to get back to football, babe. But I've got to get back to football. I'd rather listen to Arteta.
Arteta's called me and I'm going back. So again, it just speaks volumes to the squad. If you look at other clubs, we've seen Harry Kane go missing. We've seen Ronaldo go missing. Whether it's wrong, I'm not going to say anything. So yeah, the fact that he wants to go back there, again, it's a testament to what the club is at the moment, how Arteta's got the feeling around the club, the non-negotiables. Yeah, I'm here for it. And let's just hope we just come back with a bounce. It's not long to go. I'm buzzing to get back. I'm hopefully going to go to watch the Juve match. Again, this is the love. I know not every player is going to be there, but I still want to go and watch them. So I'm going to go. I'm going to buy tickets. I'm going to go get tickets. I'm going.
Go down. You got to get in. Look, if you got the opportunity to watch an Arsenal game, I can't blame you for going. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of people are like, oh, but this and that. Look, everyone's got their qualms against the owners. I've got it more than anyone else. But the opportunities to watch games don't come thick and fast for many people. Yeah. So when you've got the chance, you know what I mean? Go for it.
I do it. Yeah. I got some great tickets the other day. Like, I'm a man. I don't like going much Arsenal if I think we're going to get beat. So, because I like to win. You make the journey, you want to win, don't you? So, but I got offered Liverpool away, and I said, you know what? I've got such a feeling we're going to get them at Anfield. I've never been Anfield, and what a time! If we beat them at Anfield, God.
Man.
So yeah, I said, give me those tickets. I'm going. So.
I want to beat them, but I want to drown out. How they're fans. Their atmosphere is pretty crazy most of the time. Not all the time. But I want us to be ahead, and I want it to drown out to just our boys singing at Anfield. Oh my God! If I can hear that 2-0, and I can't hear a Liverpool peep, but our boys, our away fans screaming and making noise. Oh man!
Please don't tease me.
Not just me. You're just gonna be like, "What? This feels so good." You know what I mean? This is perfect. Every Man United fan will be just going.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone will be Arsenal fan. But yeah, I said it's a different feeling to where we were 2 years ago. So regardless of what people think of each fan, I'm gonna still wind people up. But as I said, I'm just really happy with how the team's performing, where we're at, and where we're heading. Everyone is on the right path. It looks like we got 20 guys who want to be at Arsenal, want to play for the badge, and want to play for Arteta, and that's the most important thing for me. We're on the right course.
You're spot on. It's either you're going to come in, pull a shift, do your job, and put your ego, leave your ego at the door. If you're coming in with ego, then you're out the door. Look at Aubameyang. It's not personal. I'm blue. Where the fuck were you?
You can't manage big characters, but I've seen more character from some of these boys this season than a lot of those older guys who we've had in yesteryear, and that's the biggest thing, isn't it? It's the character.
Exactly.
Hold on, Silver Fox. I've not been putting that comment up. I will put it up.
No, what is that?
Gumsa is a Xhaka man.
He is a Xhaka man.
I'm an Arteta man. I'm an Arteta man. That's who I am.
He's a Xhaka man.
Nah, I say I hold my hands up. Xhaka has been playing well, and yeah, I will agree. He's been one of our better performers this season. But yeah, there's no buts. Sorry, there's no buts. He's been one of our better performers this season. And yeah, long may it continue. It said, as long as Arsenal are doing the right things, you will still hear a complaint from me or two because I want perfection.
It's critiquing. It's critiquing, not complaining. It's critiquing.
That's the word. I like
That's
that.
all we're trying to do. Complaining is what Tottenham fans do.
Yeah. But right, on that note, Ozzy, I'm going to bounce because it's midnight in England. It's freezing cold. I've got to go put the heating on, get in my gym jams, and get ready for tomorrow. You got much planned for today?
Bruh, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I've got the day off. It's about 29, 30 degrees out there, sun and shit. I'm going to be out in Cronulla. So shits and giggles out near the water.
I'm not even going to entertain your nonsense.
You got the shit. I can open a window now. If I open this window right now, the amount of light that's going to come flying in his head, I had to close the window and turn on a fake, like just studio light. Because if I open that, the whole thing's going to fucking light up. I don't want to do it to you.
No, don't do that to me. I'll tell you what, I just went out just earlier. I got a minibus, so I parked up about 7 o'clock, went out, done a few bits, came back through it about 9. Iced up. I couldn't believe it. I had to get the de-icer out, and I ain't got my scraper either, so I was scraping it with a bottle. I'm driving through like a gap this big.
Yeah.
Driving off instincts. Like, yeah, it's cold out there, man. But it could be worse. I could be where Moss is. I'm sure he's got a picture of some snow for me in the group or something by the time I get off the stream. So I'm not going to grumble too much. Yeah, it could always be worse, but it could always be better, isn't it, Ozzy, as well? So
yeah, you come over Australia. Come over here, mate.
I would, but I'm scared of those spiders, so I ain't coming.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you guys are just a bunch of girls, I swear. Oh, spiders, who cares? Look, don't want none, won't be none. That's how spiders are.
I hear that. I remember, I'll tell my missus that later. But guys, thank you for jumping in. It's been a brilliant stream. Again, Ozzy, it's lovely to speak with you again, man. It's been
absolute
a while.
Pleasure.
Guys in the comments, appreciate you all. Make sure you keep liking and subscribing. I think we might have a show next Thursday. Myself and a couple of others doing the Premier League draft. But we'll confirm that later in the week. I'm not sure if much else is going on. I know Tony wants to do a show tomorrow, so potentially he might be on. But yeah, stick with us. I'm pretty sure once the transfer window opens, you're going to see a lot more content coming out. And as I said, Arsenal are back in action properly on the 26th, I believe it is.
Hammers, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Hammers on the 26th. I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be back for all that. So can't wait. It's only about 3 weeks away. Still got to saying there is a stream tomorrow. I think I'm on that actually. So yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. But yeah, everyone else, good night. For you, Ozzy, good afternoon. And we out of here.